Student loans for millions of Americans are once again accruing interest for the first time since the pandemic began in 2020. Over 43 million Americans hold federal student loans and average around $30,000 in debt. Some say they're anxious to pay.
I'm alarmed and I'm nervous. I don't really know where to go from here, to be honest. The interest is just like, it keeps you trapped.
President Biden is saying he won't give up on borrowers. A new program provides relief like a 12-month grace period where a missed payment this year will not lead to default. Last month, the federal government began accepting applications for the SAVE plan, the latest effort to make paying back student loans affordable. The plan uses monthly income and family size to calculate the monthly payment, creating a more personalized approach to student loans. Navigating student loan repayments, it is not easy, especially with the recent changes and rulings at the federal level. So the changes often raising a lot more questions than answers. Local 5 is on your side as we navigate the ever-changing student loan policy. Financial professional Mark Triplett joins us now to get some answers to questions surrounding the latest in student loan payments. Let's start with President Biden's latest SAVE plan with some debt relief, right?
Some debt relief is planned, yes. I mean, his original plan was to forgive up to $20,000 in student loans, but the Supreme Court back in June ruled that that was just outside of his authority and that $400 billion program needed Congress's approval. So the White House quickly came out with what they're calling the SAVE plan, and that is going to really impact repayment programs. That's kind of the approach they're taking now.
And so at the same time, student loan payments are resuming in October, interest accruing beginning of this month. So what should borrowers do to prepare to pay off the full amount of their student debt? I mean, do what you can afford, right? But it has made so many people just want to bust out their debt faster than they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I would do is really take inventory of all of your student loans. I remember when I had student loans, I had multiple student loans from multiple semesters over a period of years. So really get your arms around what do you actually owe, how long is it going to take you to pay that off, and then review your spending plan. We talk about spending plan a lot here, but it's the B word, budget. Figure out what your cash flow coming into your household looks like versus what's going out, and really start to apply as much of that excess cash flow if you can towards paying down those student loans. Now, one of the programs is to, one of the parts of the SAVE plan is to help reduce some of that burden, but there could still be some challenges to that. So really start to apply your excess cash flow to those student loans, get them paid down, and that'll help really eliminate some of those interest charges as well.
And of course, to apply your tax refund if you're carrying student debt, your income. Can you explain how to do that and what's the requirements for that?
Well, yeah, if you are eligible for a tax refund, it kind of happens around that first quarter of the year each year. You can maybe apply those dollars towards paying that student loan debt down to get it paid off more quickly. Paying that student loan debt down faster is going to save you a ton in interest charges. And then also, Samantha, automate your payments. If you have that money coming out of your account on an automatic basis, you're less likely to spend that. If you see it there, it's kind of one of those things, you remove temptation if you set up those automatic payments, and you can even get a reduced rate on your interest rate.
So I've had friends share some pretty frustrating scenarios that with the time that it's taken, for interest to accrue, their debt has multiplied, and basically they're kind of deciding what they can afford monthly with how this new repayment plan calculates. Some of them are going to be paying money into 2044. I mean, we're in the long haul at this point, and I think people are just trying to find humane, reasonable ways of just managing it. The system is overwhelmed too. I had to give it on there, and it's not easy to get a hold of an agent if you have questions. So the system itself needs some work, but thank you. This is super helpful. We've had a lot of questions from viewers. It's sort of like this ominous, how do you go about it, right? And there's still so much in flux. Looking forward, is it worth, going back to school if people are concerned about loans they have right now, but they want to go back and start another career? I mean, I guess that's a very personal question.
Yeah, it is a personal question, and I would say around that question, really look at what is the payoff potential for going back to school. Will that further education give you the potential to have a higher income in the future. I think a lot of folks have got themselves in a tough spot because they spent a lot of money on student loans that ended up getting them a degree that maybe didn't actually have the return on investment that they were hoping for.
Right. I think biggest tip is get on the phone with a representative and figure out best options, best ways to work it out. Mark, thank you so much. Tough conversation to have, but it's one we all need to be knowledgeable on. We appreciate your time.